So guys, some paper one questions, right? Most of these questions are biology-based questions for that section of the syllabus. Get started. Number 37, this is where we finished off last week. Which structure is phagocytic in nature? And of course, we will explore eventually what that word means. Good luck, guys. Send your answer. Don't guess. Try your best to research the answer, not on the internet, but in your books and your notes to get the answers. So without revealing the answer, let's just get an idea of what some of these structures are. Now, the truth is, I can't really identify all of these. But B, what type of cell most likely is B? If that question were to come in the exam, what type of cell is B? If you had to make a best guess, right? What does B look like? Right, Kiara, Malachi, correct. Right, Navi, correct. Right, B is actually a red blood cell, right? So, and what do you think A is? Just asking, right? Well, what do you think A looks like? Let's say in your exam for this year, they draw a picture of A and ask you, what is that structure? Right, Naveed also correct. Right, Kiara correct. Right, let's take a couple answers. These are platelets, right? Now, the answer for this particular question, in case you're all wondering, is C. What kind of cell is C? What sort of cell is C? It's not kidney stones. What category? Right. No, it's not well, it's not really an animal cell. What I was looking for, this is a white blood cell. It's a white blood cell. Okay. Now remember, there are two major categories of white blood cells. It have one starting with L and it have one starting with P. We went through this many times, right? So one starting with L and one starting with P, right? So it have LYM sites and phagocytes. Now, this one here is a phagocyte. The phagocytes, right? Which one are they? Are they the one that eats, like if you have an invasion in your body, like bacteria that you don't want invades your body, like a sickness is coming into your body? Do the phagocytes eat them, or does it be creative and make a chemical to kill them? Which one are the phagocytes? The one that brutally just eats the invaders, or it investigates the invaders, finds its weakness, and then develops a chemical to deal with them? Right, Maria, correct. See if you all remember. Which one are the phagocytes? In case you can't remember, that's the one that eats them, right? It's a caveman one. He's a prehistoric one. He don't know nothing about developing chemicals. The lymphocytes develop a chemical to kill them, right? Right. So I think that's enough revision on this one. You don't have to take down this one. You have all of this in your notes already. Let's move on. Right. Now, this one here was to me, I had to show this one, right? Give it your best shot. Look at the diagram properly. Put your eyes up to the screen and see if you can figure out the answer. This question deals with osmosis. So the first thing you have to do is clarify, how does water move in osmosis? Does it move from where there's plenty water to a little bit of water? Or does it move from an area of a little bit of water to an area of more water? Establish that first and then try the question. At the top of the diagram, right, there is pure water. So let me get that in here, right? Now, when I'm discussing everything here, I'm going to be using whatever phrase I use to describe the amount of water. So if over here, this region is just pure water, you could say it have what? Plenty water, right? So the word plenty there is referring to water, obviously. Now, it's like they dig a hole at the top of the potato and they fill it with water, right? So they make a kind of a reservoir or a kind of an oasis in the middle of the potato, okay? Now, does the potato itself, right? Does the potato have any like salts in it, like naturally? Well, a potato, does it naturally have any salts and sugars in it? Yeah, it must, right? Potato is a vegetable. It has some salts and sugars in it. So I would say that they would have a medium amount of water in it because the potato is just not pure water. A potato has water in it naturally, yeah? Right? Because a potato is kind of moist, right? So a potato has a medium amount of water in it, and it has some salts and sugars mixed into it. Now, what about the concentrated sucrose solution? Does it have plenty water, a medium amount of water, or very little water? What do you, when you hear the term concentrated sucrose solution? Plenty, little bit, or medium? What are your thoughts on that? The concentrated sucrose solution. Sucrose, not sucrose, sorry. Sucrose. Right, Luke, correct. I would say a very little bit, right? So it has a low, I'll put low amounts of water because it's constant. Let me just break down that phrase for you guys. Concentrated sucrose solution means it has water with plenty sugar in it. Sucrose is a type of sugar. So it has so much. It's like you take you have a small cup of water and you put like 10 tablespoons of sucrose in it, sugar in it. By comparison, it has a very little bit of what? Water. Now, the next question is, how does water move? Does water move in osmosis from an area of plenty to a little bit, or from a little bit to an area of plenty? I'll answer that question one time. Water moves from an area of plenty. You see where there's plenty water, it will move to areas that have a little bit of water. So in other words, this is the direction of flow. It's going to flow outwards like this. It's going to flow from plenty through the medium to an area of low. It's like the water wants to help out the thirsty people. So wherever the water is low, people, they are thirsty. So the water begins to go over there to help them out, to quench their thirst. So what's going to happen? All the water is going to leave the oasis. The answer is B, by the way. And then it's going to go to the area of the sucrose. You notice the area of the sucrose swell? That's because the water from here went to this area, increasing the volume in that area. For those who got it wrong and chose C, you understand why you got it wrong? Right? The answer is B. Do me a favor. I know you're not going to be able to draw this now, but you think you all could screenshot this one? Let's have a record of it in case it comes back in the exam, because questions do repeat. Okay. All right. 2 questions here, 39 and 40. Now, when you're breathing in air, the air coming in is going to have plenty oxygen. But when you breathe out, remember, your body would have used some of the oxygen for respiration, right? So when you're breathing out, less oxygen will come out. Also, when you breathe out, the carbon dioxide content is more because respiration produces carbon dioxide. So when you breathe out, the carbon dioxide content increases. Nitrogen never changes. Your body doesn't really, in the breathing process for respiration, your body doesn't use nitrogen. So the same amount of nitrogen coming in is the same amount of nitrogen coming out. So the only possible answer here is C. Right? A lot of people chose D, right? So I hope you all understand the answer there. Look at the values. Before the oxygen was 21, but coming out, the oxygen got a little less. Before carbon dioxide was low, but when you're breathing out, carbon dioxide was more. And you notice the nitrogen, the N2, remain the same. Now, number 40. This was a tricky question, right? This was a tricky one. What's the name of the hormone that regulates water in your body, that makes you go to the washroom plenty or a little bit to urinate? Well, let's establish that first. Well, what's the name? You can use the abbreviation. What's the name of the hormone that controls water in your body? Right. Kiara correct. Naveed correct. Izil correct. Right? The name of that hormone is ADH. So, did ADH, the next question now, which gland, well, I cannot give away the answer there. The pituitary gland actually produces ADH. He is the factory in the body that produces the ADH. But here's the thing. Who controls the pituitary gland? You know, when you have a factory, it's have workers. So the pituitary gland come like the workers, right? The workers must have a boss. Who is the boss of the pituitary gland? Who gives instructions to the pituitary gland to make ADH? Right, it's actually B, the hypothalamus, right? This was a real tricky question, right? Because at first glance, I was going to put pituitary gland, but the hypothalamus is the one that controls, and the hypothalamus is a structure in the brain, right? So I find this a real unfair question, but the real answer for this one is B. The better answer, to better put it, is B. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do. Turn to a fresh page in your book, take down this question, and I want you to write down all 4 answers and circle the correct one, please, so you don't forget it for the exam. Let me know when you are finished. Right. Oh, this is a little diagram to show what's going on in it, right? So it shows, well, I put a hippopotamus, because the word resembles the word hippopotamus. I just do it for fun, right? So the hypothalamus actually controls the pituitary gland, right? He's like the boss of the pituitary gland. All right, so here's how the game goes, right? You're going to be given 2 choices, and then you're going to have to vote on the choices. If you are part of the more popular choice, you get 10 points. If you are not part of the more popular choice, you get 0 points. Let's see who has the most points at the end of the day, right? These are the 2 choices. It's the last day of the year. I know I'll use some typos there. So let me say your parents have to take you somewhere. Where would you prefer to be? Choice 1, at the finals of the Cricket Premier League, the CPL, with your friends and family, finals, or would you rather just go to a high-end resort next to an amusement park? Look at your 2 choices, guys. Look at your 2 choices. Which one would you prefer? For both of them, you're going to be there for 1 day. And each one is 24 hours. Okay? Look at your choices, and we're going to take a vote a little while. It's either choice 1 or choice 2. Right? I'm going to launch the poll just now. Don't worry. Let's go. Vote, guys. Choice 1 is CPL. Choice 2 is the hotel resort next to the amusement park. You know, some of you all may be huge cricket fans. You know, right? So the people who chose the hotel, the beach resort, put on 10 points, right? Put down. Oh, sorry, my microphone fell down. Sorry, guys. Just now, my microphone fell down. All right. So you guys hear me better there now? So for the people who chose the resort, 10 points. For the CPL people, the cool people, 0 points. All right. Let's go, guys. Write down the amount of points. All right. So we have another question here. Question 41. Good luck. So the first things first, right? The answer could only be between what? C and D, right? Can only be between C and D. Now, these two words are going to confuse you all, right? Just for the time being, right? So we'll clarify just now. Now, the reason is this, let's say you touch a fire, right? So let's say you touch a fire. Let me say you have a fire here, right? And you put your finger here, right? Now, the signal has to be sent through your sensory neuron. Your sensory neuron will be the first, well, almost one of the first things to receive the impulse, right? And then it has to go to your intermediate neuron. Anybody wants to tell me which part you find the intermediate neuron, and also what's the other name for an intermediate neuron? What's another name for it? Right. Right. Anybody knows? All right. Classes. So the sensory neuron is here, and then it goes to your spinal cord. Now, inside your spinal cord, there are things called your relay neurons, also known as your intermediate neurons. So another name for this is your relay. In your spinal cord and brain, there are only relay neurons. And after it makes a decision, it will go to the motor neuron. Guys, I need for you all to confirm this in your notes, right? Not much people answering at the moment. Look at your diagram, your flow chart on when we were doing the nervous system. I need you to see physically, not just to say, yeah, on the chat, right? I want you to confirm that you see sensory neuron followed by the relay neuron, and then almost last is the motor neuron. The motor neuron is the one that runs to your muscles to finally tell your muscles to move, right? Right. So the question, both C and D have the order correct, sensory, intermediate, and motor. The question is, does the axon come first or the dendron? This is a question that will repeat, right? That could repeat, sorry. The correct answer would be D. The dendron or dendrites come first. They are actually part of the nerve, okay? They are part of the nerve itself. So the answer for this one is D. All right? Do me a favor. I'm not gonna make you do the whole question, right? As these questions repeat, right? This is what I want you to take down. The question itself and only take down the correct answer. I won't make you write the wrong answers here. So you can commit that to memory for the exam. Right, so commit that one to memory, guys. All right, so this one is under sexual reproduction. So turn to your notes on that first. Find your notes, right? When you all were assigned for the homework to review, I think it was 6 videos on sexual reproduction. Turn to your notes first. Then begin to answer the questions. The answer for 42, right? When they say this phrase, they mean what? The eggs, right? Remember, for fertilization to happen, the sperm has to fuse with the eggs. So in this number 42 is talking about the eggs. That is made where? In the ovary. So the answer for that one would be B. A lot of correct answers for that one, right? No problems with that one on the chat here. For number 43, where fertilization occurs. Now, when I'm using a little red dot for the eggs here, right? When the eggs are made here, are being made here, it will what? Be released into that's the tubes, right? Now, what's going to happen? The sperm is going to swim up this tube and meet the egg. And of course, when the two of them meet in that area and they fuse, you call that fertilization. So that seems to be happening in what? Area A, right? And let's checking through the answers to see how much were correct, right? Right, so a few people got it wrong based on the submissions, right? And now, once the fusion occurs, so I'm going to use a blue. So let me say the sperm meets the egg and fertilization happens. So that blue structure is the fertilized egg. That is going to continue to what? Flow, well, travel, and then it's going to get buried in this area here. That's the uterus, or the uterus lining, right? And of course, once it gets buried here or attached to that area, it's going to grow and grow and grow, multiply and multiply and multiply until it forms a baby, right? So 44, the development would be D. How much people got all 3 correct without 8 spells a word bad? Right? How much people got all 3 correct without my assistance? Like really, really got all 3 correct, right? Right, 4 questions here. Good luck. What's all right, so the class surprised me here. I really, really expected most people to choose option 1. I thought the mustard would have just turned off everyone. All right, so for the people who chose option 2, that's the mustard pizza, put down 10 points. Option 1, 0 points. All right, I guess sometimes the class surprises me. Let's move on, right? Lots of questions here, 6 questions. Good luck, guys. Number 47, I'm going to give you some time to write down the question. This is one I want you all to commit to memory. When you see this question, nitrifying bacteria, the answer is going to be C. It converts nitrites to nitrates. Now, when you're taking down the question, obviously you don't have to put down the wrong answers, right? Just taking down the question, taking on the correct answer, right? This is what I call a kind of outer timing question. Number 48. If you say something has a pH of 2.5, is it acidic or is it alkaline? When you hear something has a pH value of 2.5, is it acidic or alkaline? What do you all remember? Right? In case you can't remember, when it comes to pH values, if the value is less than 7, it's acidic, right? Maria, correct? And if it's more than 7, it's alkaline. So if you didn't know, you could probably take that down, right? Now, they said that the pH value is 2.5. Now, 2.5 is clearly less than 7. So they're really trying to say we're dealing with an acidic environment. What's the only part of the body? Well, when we were doing the digestive system, what's the only part of the digestive system that's acidic? Right, Naveed, correct. Right, Ezekiel, correct. Right, now, Naveedita, correct. It's the stomach. That's the only part of the digestive system that's truly acidic. Number 49. When you cut your finger, what stops the bleeding, right? This is either you know it or you don't know it, but we discussed this in class already. It's the blood platelets, right? I didn't see any wrong answers for that one, so I guess everyone, the majority of people understand that one. Number 52. Which of the following best represents material that can be recycled? Now, is there a difference between recycle and reuse? Is there a difference? Is recycling and reusing the same thing? The answer is no. Reuse means you just find a new use for it. Now, usually plastics cannot be recycled. I know some people are going to fight me down and say, well, there are new factories nowadays that can recycle plastic, which means when you recycle something, it means you take it, you break it down, right? You break it completely down, and then you remake something else with it. Reuse is not the same thing. For example, a milk container. Let's say, you know, when you drink packs of milk at home, the 1 liter milk, like Nestle and with this moo milk and whatnot, right? How much of you all have taken a pack of milk after it finished, and then you cut some holes at the beginning, at the bottom, sorry, and you plant a plant in it? How much of you all have done that or see your parents do that? They take the milk carton, that's the word I was looking for. You break it down. All you do is you cut it, you put some holes, and you grow a plant in it. Right, Kellen, you did it, right? That's reuse. You find another purpose for it. Recycle means you go to a factory, you break it down, and then you totally make a brand new substance or product from it. Now, they're talking about recycle. Now, for the time being, remember, a lot of these questions are old questions, right? They were made like 10 years ago, some of them 20 years ago. So plastics generally are not recycled. You can reuse plastic, like if you have an old plastic toy and you don't want it anymore, instead of throwing it away, you can turn it upside down, put soil and grow a plant in it. For some reason, I can only think about growing plants in it, right? So the best answer here is C. You can recycle tin cans, you can melt it. No, not C, sorry. That's the wrong answer. It's D, right? Paper can be recycled, tin cans, you can melt it back down and create new cans out of it, and discarded food. You can throw like carrot peels and whatnot and take into your garden that can be broken down into a compost heap, right? So the best answer there is D. Okay? Right. Number 53. The answer is cilia. They're talking about the trachea. That's when you're breathing in. That's the pathway to your lungs. It has small hair-like structures there on the inside. It's called cilia. Okay? And a lot of people, number 54, when they hear malnutrition, they always think about the person is not getting enough food. That's not true. Malnutrition just means you're doing something bad with the amount of nutrition. You can either be eating too much or too little bit, or you're not eating enough of a certain nutrient. Malnutrition certainly does not mean too little bit of food. It can also mean too much food, which can lead to what? Overweight, right? Obesity. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to take down number 47, right? Let me know when you finish. Take down the question and the correct answer and learn it off by heart for the exam. All right, 6 more questions. Right. Good luck. 55. Now, I think we had mentioned this one here. This one here is B, right? Now, the cirrhosis is definitely out, right? When they say coronary, they mean heart, right? Cirrhosis have to do with the liver. Arthritis have nothing to do with the heart. Phagocytosis, I believe this has to do with your immune system, right? So even if you didn't know, by a process of elimination, you can realize, wait, now, it's B, right? By process of elimination. 56. Nobody is supposed to get that wrong. The 2 types of respiration are aerobic and anaerobic. One is with oxygen, the other one is without oxygen. Number 57. Now, we did a lot of work, but I never, ever, ever, ever gave you all the answer for this one. So this will definitely be one I'm going to ask you all to write down and commit to memory. Muscle contractions, you need calcium ions. So this is a case, is that you know it or you didn't know it, okay? So you'll write down that one when you get a chance. Number 50, no one's supposed to get this wrong. Which one causes the, which one lowers blood sugar? We all know it, insulin. Number 59, well, when you have, we call it a nerve cell. Remember the nerve cell looks something like this, right? And you have this long part here. If you look at your diagrams, the long part they're talking about is your axon, right? Right. Number 60, well, I can guess why some people got a little bit confused. So a congenital defect is something that is present at birth. So when the baby is born, it happened over there. Now, you use the word defect here, right? Now, the answer is going to be Down syndrome, right? Anybody wants to tell me what causes Down syndrome? I'll give you a little hint. It gives you something. It's caused from having an extra something. What's that extra something that causes Down syndrome? Right, so Paya, correct. Yara, correct. Zaria, Maria, correct. Right, it is an extra chromosome. Now, some people might say, well, a birthmark is present at birth, but that's already a defect, right? It's not a defect. It's not going to affect the functionality of the person or whatnot, right? Same thing with a big head, right? If you have a slightly bigger head, I mean, it's present at birth, but I don't think that's going to cause a problem, right? Issue. And night blindness, that's caused from, that's not, you don't get that from birth. That's from a bad diet, right? You're lacking a certain vitamin or something like that, or a mineral, a vitamin, sorry. So the best answer here is Down syndrome, because that can really affect a person's life. And of course, it happens, it's present at birth. All right, guys, so we were able to finish an entire past paper. A past paper has 60 questions, and between last week and this week, we got 60 done. Next week, we will be doing more. All right, so guys, thank you for coming out today, and I will see you all next week. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care.